Warm welcome to everyone here as we gather around and settle in for session 8 of the Shrouded Shore. I'm Umling, Dragon Mom, and Dungeon Master for today's session, and with me are Cross as,
Justicia!
Dorakin as,
Maker.
Vertizen as,
From Grim.
and Yulia as.
Leaf Driver.
And would anyone like to kick us off with a summary of the previous session?
I can do that.
Fourth.
Go ahead.
Last time on the Shrouded Shore, the party, led by the heroic Justicia Volantilis Vindrix, atop the latest member of the Volantilis clan, Canceramicus, arrived at their destination, the port town of Pymus. Though we were quite shocked to see it was already under siege, we were in the minority, as the sea-bound threat, a trio of ships wielding a form of ecatic lightning cannon, was being treated more of a nuisance than a crisis. With some simple sleuthing, the party attains a mission from the town's irksome praetor to go take on the ships and disable the devilish device. Smelling an opportunity to gain allies for the rebellion, we accepted and sailed out. Negotiations were doing fine until a combination of bloodlust and paranoia overtook our cloven-foot companion, and battle ensued. Fortunately, they gave up quickly. A Lakmaran agent agreed with our deal to fake a successful mission and allowed us to bring home the core of the lightning cannon as proof. We were well rewarded and excused to take on the town proper. Where will we go next? I definitely plan to go shopping. Session 8 of the Shrouded Shore. Crumb, is seawater bad for bronze? I don't want my legs to oxidize.
No anime end bits. What? No.
Just as long as you don't start promising fan service next episode.
And then take 8 years to produce a movie, yeah.
Anime. Okay, take a
was-
bonus hero point for your lovely
Thing.
yes, your lovely last time on.
That was all off the top of my head and not from a script.
Wonderful. Such talent.
Impressive.
If I need someone to come up with something off the top of their head, I'll know who to call. In that case, is there anything you guys want to do before heading out from Pymus?
I have a question.
Yes?
Because it's bugging me on my character sheet.
Mm-hmm.
What is the term for a native of this? Am I Partuvian?
Partuvian.
What? Partuvian. Okay, cool.
Is it
It
Partu
is.
with a V?
Yes, Partuvian.
Ah.
So neither of your entries was right.
It's always
Right.
this way.
Pointing,
I go entirely by
pointing
the
fingers,
metric.
Draken.
I go entirely by the metric of what sounds right, with absolutely no coherent grammar structure or reasoning behind that claim.
That's a good plan because that was a rabbit hole of research anyway.
Mm-hmm.
There are many ways to make those words, so anyone could be correct.
But yes, Bayleaf is Partuvian.
Oh, cool.
He is.
Yes,
He
shocking.
is indeed.
The twist.
There's one thing I'd like to do before we leave town.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how easy it is to do. I need some more ammunition.
So, ammunition can be purchased, but it's kind of difficult to get gun ammunition because that's by and large a weapon that's kind of hard to get a hold of unless you're working with, Imperial forces themselves.
Mm-hmm.
You are not really being questioned on carrying a gun around because you are doing errands for praetors. And when you come to deliver something to a praetor and they see you have a gun, they're like, oh, I guess, they've been given this by like someone
They're
else.
supposed to have that.
You're supposed to have that, is the assumption. That being said, if you want to make ammunition, it's probably better to craft it. But
I have none of the skills for that.
Yeah, that you could
that
leave
is something
to
that
Maker
I'm
and
generally
Chrome.
fine crafting without worrying about like it taking a bunch of time to craft. Like ammunition is something that I'm generally very like lax about in terms of Maker can produce it quite easily.
Yeah, I was going to ask because spending 4 days to make
4 bullets.
40 bullets technically, but yeah.
Oh.
It
Yeah.
would still be kind of annoying, especially because I want to be inventing stuff and making real items.
I'll say that like Maker can produce like 10 bullets a day in addition to any other crafting he's doing. Just
Perfect.
like one, he can produce like a unit of ammunition every day in addition to whatever else he's doing. Even if he's traveling or whatever, it's very, very simple work. It's mostly just he's taking like sling pellets and messing with them a little
Ooh.
bit.
Actually,
Yeah, I was going to ask about that actually. Were we still going to do the part where downtime activities like crafting can only be done in towns rather than during travels?
That is, I believe, how downtime works in Pathfinder 2e. Like, downtime activities are for actual downtime, which is not travel time or active adventure time. It's a smaller part of this system than it was of Advanced 5th Edition.
Nice.
So,
I will probably, in that case, wait until we hit the next town to try and see if I can find, the more CD context to buy ammo from.
Yeah, we don't want to stay in there very long.
all right. So you're heading out, presumably about the day after your pirate adventure. Rest up. Get some sleep. You can, like, the local inn just...
Oh, actually,
sorry.
are Neil and Maeve still in town? Or
They
outside
are
of
not
town?
in town. They are in Nestlane. They are to the south. They did not come up with you.
That's right. That's right. Yep, they're in the other. Yep.
They are in a different settlement entirely. You could, if you want to send a message to them, look for like a rebel sympathizer and say like, "Hey, try to get this south and bring it into."
Nah, it's okay.
Okay. I'm curious what you would have sent them. However,
A large crossbow that I'm carrying.
well, you don't have that. However, you can load it up on your good
Crabbo.
friend Canceramicus.
Lantius.
Yes, who has been named by the narration. And
Yeah.
with that, you can be off from Pymus in the morning. Relatively light rain this morning, and you set out the western gate and sort of start moving into the northern part of the continent. The rain is warm as you travel west along the Pilgrims Road, carried to you on the relatively balmy northern winds. You spend your first night basically by the roadside getting rained on as the light drizzle starts gathering force and like a proper storm seems to be on its way. And you spend your third night of the journey sheltering in a very cozy little roadside inn hewn into this massive fallen tree near the roadside. Family consisting of 3 parents and some 7-ish children, depending on whether the quiet girls you keep seeing hanging out in the corner of various rooms are twins, triplets, or just one uncannily fast child playing an elaborate joke. Seem to be holding down the homestead, keeping a sizable garden out back, and providing a dinner of roast mushrooms and toad dumplings. Surprisingly tender if you've never had them. But they'll offer lodgings for the night for free, but They'll accept a few guilders and donations if you can spare them. They're trying to keep the old tradition of like rest houses for pilgrims alive. The road isn't as traveled as it once was, but they have a private garden to keep.
Maybe if we put down
their
2
family
golders.
happy. They'll thank you quite a bit for that, and
Prom will put down 2 golders as well.
they thank you for the generosity and see you off with a good breakfast in the morning and a couple hot meals. The 5th night of your journey is a bit less pleasant. That's when the storm like properly hits. The rain is just sleeting down, and you are and spend the night huddled under a stone-shaped bridge, trying to avoid the edges of the bridge where the wind is just like slicing in these curtains of rain. And
Can we set up a tent underneath set up a tent underneath the bridge?
you can. You do. Without tents, you would be like drowning every night trying to like camp in Partu. Good waterproof tents are like an essential part of any adventuring kit, which I figure all of you have. Your 5th night ends uneventfully, but the rainfall, while it's let up a bit by the morning, does ensure that the trail is even more of a mudwater slog the following day, as you follow a road that seems at times to be on the verge of collapsing into the river it's running alongside. Were it not for the dense forest around you, it likely would have a long time ago. You're treading on a mesh of sturdy tree roots as much as dirt at times, and it definitely slows your crab companion down as he sort of picks his way carefully along the road. You're starting to wonder whether you'll be spending your 6th night trying to find shelter again when the glimmer of Thorthwell's lights pierce the blue-black dusk as you round the river bend. The town is small, tiny, with no major resources and little strategic importance. It's no larger than Galleon Village was, and seems to be just as lightly guarded. A simple shock fence around the outer perimeter is the only wall, and you see no real sign of an imperial garrison beyond a single manor house for the local praetor. One moment.
Oh, thank goodness. I'm so tired of being in all this rain.
It's good for you.
What part of drowning is good for you?
Honestly, I'm kind of missing snow right about now.
What is snow if not just, frozen rain?
Yes, that is the main difference, and that is what I miss.
As one of the northernmost settlements in Partu, Bayleaf's home city actually does get snow a couple times a year. It's rare, and most of the city is functionally in arcology, so she's inside for most of the time, but it does get snowed on sometimes.
I've seen snow before.
Yeah, she knows what snow is like. She doesn't need this northern fluffy boy to tell her about the white stuff. Never mind that he comes from the place where like snow is knee deep half the year. But more than the lack of soldiers, there's this almost idyllic atmosphere to this little town. The sun is well and truly set as you make your way into the village proper, and the golden light of street lamps is casting everything in an inviting hue. On close inspection, each one of these little lampposts appears to house a nest of especially vibrant and large-bodied fireflies, with the luminous bugs gathering in glass sugar water bubbles to cast a steady glow over the surroundings. Many of the buildings appear to have been built with and around living wood, likely by the druids and priests of Nessus that once passed through here routinely on pilgrimage, and colorful plant life blossoms in small gardens and lavish planters.
This place is garden. I don't trust it. Where's all the stone? How can these foundation how are these foundations even steady?
They look like they're planted into the ground, so I would say so.
Wood is a perfectly viable building material, though these do appear to be made by some kind of magic.
Do they ever make your kind out of wood?
Most of everything
Rarely, yes.
most of everything in the capital is like marble. So and there's occasional wood places, but these are trees, not houses.
Oh, would you believe that these are made of wood? Eh?
I am surprised by your assertion. As far as I'm aware, wood in the Empire is a luxury material, as the mainland mostly use fungus instead. I guess you are not as highborn as we suspected.
Well, wood's furniture, not like stable foundations.
It is true.
Well then,
Most
would-
buildings in Aerodon are built with brick and have marble facades up over them.
Yeah, there's
this
wood
is
furniture.
mystified by wood. Here, look.
I'm not
Something
mess-
amazing. She's digging for a pack, pulling out a wooden bowl.
It's not mystified, and how is that supposed to hold anything? It's just gonna absorb whatever you put in it.
See, she's astounded by it. Put
You're
a wooden
disgusting.
fork if you want to see it.
I would not dignify that with a response.
No. Let's leave the Messiah alone.
Well, let's get out of this rain at least.
We've got one more letter to deliver, so maybe we can just get ourselves paid for that first. Then go get a place to stay.
Agreed.
Reasonable.
Let's go straight to the Praetor's Manor then. I'm assuming it's that building over there.
It does
I
stand
would-
out. It's pretty easy to identify. It's the only
Yes.
building in the entire town, as far as you can tell, aside from a couple of small watchtowers that.
See, Bailiff can tell by the floating text.
Does that mean the text over here makes Bailiff sad?
She hasn't got that good vision.
But you make your way inside. It's late, and you do need to talk your way past, like, a kind of sleepy-looking door guard. But eventually, you get inside, and you're just kind of like waved into a dinner room or a like small like little dining room with a little round table and just this this elderly human woman who she's got these tight braids of silvery hair, and she's just kind of like dressed in a very casual kind of evening, like a comfortable gown, and sipping at a cup of tea while reading a book. She looks extremely unbusy and extremely unbothered as she looks up at you and just adjusts a pair of big round spectacles to get a better look at you. Oh, dearie. It's a bit late, isn't it? Is this urgent?
Forgive the intrusion, Praetor. It's an urgent missive from the Praetor of Naceline.
Oh, for me, I suppose. Well, don't get messages very often. She holds out her
Hand it.
hand and
She'll hand it over.
she takes it, pops the seal off, reads it for a minute. I see. Needs a letter of support? Simple enough, I can grant that. I'll send it along in the morning. All this fuss. You know, I retired out here because it was peaceful and quiet. not quite liking this recent turn to this nonsensical uprising.
Certainly seems pleasant enough here, Lady Praetor.
Justicia, actually make a society check.
You
should
define
tell.
the you define the hidden level 20 wizard.
Ah, yes, the fantasy staple. You messed with the wrong shopkeeper.
Every campaign has at least one level 20 shopkeeper.
Yeah.
I told you to pay. Now you will pay the ultimate price.
My mysterious shopkeeper was Santa Claus.
Oh dear.
There's the button this year.
The society is there. You found it. When Justicia sees the name of this woman, Praetor Fiore Baron, she actually lightly recognizes it as someone who used to be something on the mainland, but she doesn't really pay attention to old politicians, and so she has no idea of any specifics. But the old woman just casually sets aside the message, kind of rummages around in a small bag, and drops your payment of what is this? Let's see. You've been promised. That says 20 gulders. That should be plenty, right? Here, take it.
Yes, thank you, Praetor.
I did suppose you'd want a cracker or two while you're at it. These are quite tasty. She waves a little wafer snack that she seems to be eating with her tea.
I wouldn't deign to intrude any further.
Oh, well, suit yourself, suit yourself. Enjoy your stay here in our little town, and don't cause any trouble, or I might have to send the guards on you. We do have them. Might not look it, but we have a few, enough to put down trouble.
Well, you won't even notice we're here, lady.
Wonderful, wonderful. She goes back to reading her novel and nibbling on a wafer.
Curt little bell. It's going to turn on heels and start heading out.
So,
What? No,
Bailey?
no hobbery?
Oh,
yes,
I
Bailey,
need to get out of that room first.
give me a perception check.
Yeah. Am I that predictable? Yeah. Let's see. Oh, perceptions. I really need to keep remembering that perception's over there on the sheet.
So, you find pretty easily the most valuable thing you spot is right outside the Praetor's room, which is there's a little cart with tea supplies on it that seems to have been wheeled out after delivering them to her. And among them, there is a lovely little silver tea set that you could probably steal
Ooh.
one or more cups from.
Ha
You are able to somehow smuggle out the entire tea set, complete with the little tray that they're sitting on.
Wonderful.
That's 6 cups, which are probably each worth about 5 gold, plus the tray itself is probably worth 10 gold. So you have
We'll be drinking fine tonight this year.
Oh, good. I was worried you were going to pull out a wooden tea set.
I wouldn't want to blow your mind.
nobody even questions how you're taking a bunch of teacups out of this building. That's
I
the-
have
the
really big
privilege-
sleeves.
Yeah, the privilege of a 30 on a thievery check. You can just
Don't ask is the
Yeah.
30.
But you make it out onto the streets. It's nighttime, but the town is still fairly well lit, and you still see people going about their business. The sun has set fairly early.
Excuse me, you, first person I've seen.
Yes. What is it?
Where could we get some rest for the night? Any inn or such in town?
Oh, yes. Pilgrims Rest. There's a few people staying there currently. Prices are cheap. Quite old. Used to be free, but aren't quite enough pilgrims anymore to fully sustain itself off of that.
Which way
You'll
would
find
that be?
North side of town, right up against the base of the foothills. You can't miss it.
Thank you kindly.
Big building, courtyard. He sort of points you down the street and gives you directions.
Finally, I really want to get out of this rain.
You should like the rain. It's good weather for ducks.
Nobody likes the rains, and nobody likes tropical rains. Not even people who lived here. And this is not in character.
I'm British. I'm required to love the rain.
I live in the Amazon. You don't stay out.
That's all right though. It can't rain all the time.
It sure seems like it's been raining the entire time I've been here. I'm glad I don't have feet, otherwise they'd be waterlogged.
Instead,
You do have sheaves though.
I am surprised you are not sinking in the mud.
Oh, we're past that part.
She shakes mud off her blades again and
Yeah.
just keeps walking.
Disticia's a few inches shorter in mud.
He's been mainly riding Canceramicus the entire time because when it gets deep, there's just no way she's walking through it.
But you make your way to Pilgrim's Rest. You can tell this inn was once quite large, but like a full wing of it appears to be shuttered up and closed down. You go in, meet with the innkeeper, a surprisingly young kindred man. Looks like he's got mostly dwarven ancestry from the full beard and sort of short, stocky stature. And you can stay here for 1 gold piece per private room. Each private room comes with 2 beds, or 3 gold pieces for a family suite, which consists of a master bedroom, 2 child bedrooms, each of which with 2 to 3 beds, and a private bathroom. Either option comes with 2 solid home-cooked meals per day for each person there, and stable space is available with any room.
Perfect. I'll take the master room if you don't mind.
Of course.
I'll
I'll be down, and looks like you've got a flat back for transport. I'll see that it's taken care of, nice and comfortable.
Good. He only expects the best.
Thank you. And a bit extra for the next pilgrims come through. I'm just going to give him 10 golders.
Oh, you don't say. Thank you. He takes the extra 10 and deposits it in a small jar with like a placard denoting that it is for folks passing through who need a place to stay but don't quite have the funds for it.
I was gonna say,
Boy, you sure are made out of money.
but then I remembered she's stolen like 60 guilders worth of material already. So she has the money to spend on these little frivolities.
Listen, I'm a certifiable one-day Robin Hood. That's how it works, right?
Takes from
Yeah.
the rich to give to the people who serve her.
Yeah.
You do also notice there does seem to be like a sign up offering childcare services for pilgrims who are like heading into the Green Heart down south, who are making like the full pilgrimage to the Tomb of Nessus, because that is a trip for adults with a guide, not for families with kids. But
They offer services to arrange if you don't return. Jeez.
it is pretty rare. Like, Bayleaf knows about this pilgrimage. The trip to the Tomb of Nessus is extremely difficult terrain. It's very slow going. It is known to be like, despite being a relatively short path, it's known to be like a 2-week trip from Thorthwill to the tomb and a 2-week trip back. But as long as you have a guide and take it seriously, actual deaths are very rare. They've happened in the past. It's known to be dangerous, but it's like
There's no death sentence.
yeah, it's like mountain climbing, right? Where it's like you do it, you know it's there's risks involved. Enough
You're more likely to get malaria than jaguar.
Right. Again, as long as you have a guide. Going in there without a guide is something that you only do if you are like very martially capable yourself. It's hard to find a guide these days. It used to be easy, but most of like the proper rangers and what have you are lying low these days. It's there used to be a whole. You used to be able to just kind of casually ask around in Thorthwill and join up with a group, but
Tell me, sir, you get many people coming through still?
only for the only for the temple though down the way by and large. It's a bit of a husk nowadays, but it's the closest thing we're allowed to have still to a temple to the old goddess. People come to pay their respects.
Imps allowed out here today.
It's complicated. They've got their own. He scowls. They've got their own defilement to the place, but they allow it for now. You can have a visit and see for yourself. There's folks there at all hours if you're looking to stop by.
Maybe in the morning.
It's a heartbreaking sight. I never saw it in its glory days, but my father did, and he'd tell me about it. It's used to be quite something. But rest well. Sleep kindly.
Oh, you got some spare towels for the big fella here?
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course.
Thank you very much.
I'll have them sent down to the other room.
Don't you dare shake that off outside the bathroom.
You're brought along to a very comfortable like place with a very comfortable like set of rooms. There's like a little common area, a few bedrooms off the side of it. The bathroom is quite nice. It's got like a little enchanted shower tap that actually seems to be able to provide hot water to banish some of the chill of the air. This is an old and at one point extremely like this was a very high volume like prestigious inn at one point when the people from all over the continent used to make pilgrimages, and many of them would rest here and contribute to its upkeep. It still has a lot of those old amenities. The shower doesn't quite get as hot as it used to, but it's still enough to warm you up.
Why didn't you go shower first, Crom? You can take the longest to dry off all of us.
Thank you. I'll take you up on that. I should really get a brush, though. I'm starting to get knots. And believe you me, when I get knots, it's awful.
We'll pick up a brush in the morning. I'll give you a hand with them.
Thank you. And he'll make his way to the bathroom. What? He's going to examine the shower first. Will he be able to fit in it?
He will. The shower is like set in the ceiling, and it is intended for use by the many, many different like builds and shapes of people who live in Partu. Like a centaur could use this shower, so Crom definitely can. It's like a little bit tight, but he fits inside.
From outside, you're going to hear a humming of a Gozairan traveling song echoing in the bathroom with the Crom's deep baritone as he takes a shower.
And I use up all the hot water. Though you'd think I'd be sick of showers, considering we've not been in one nonstop. Hot water is going to make all the difference.
Can attest to that
Meanwhile,
feeling.
while Crom is showering, the most important question comes to the fore, which is, there are 3 rooms, but one of them is definitively a master bedroom with a large bed, and the other 2 are child bedrooms with less large, still serviceable, but less large and less fancy beds. Who is getting
This
what room?
is not my problem.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we should let Crom have the big bed.
What? Why would we do that?
Because he's a
I
big
call
fella.
dibs. He's in the shower.
You sleep, Maker.
I must stop for internal repairs, but I don't need a bed or a chair or anything. I'll mostly be reading while I do it.
Doesn't Maker
Oh.
need like a pitch dark room to
Not in this system.
fascinating? He has overcome
That's
he has overcome his angst phase. He no longer needs to live in darkness.
Listen, we're discovering many things.
He's taken the time to fix his internal mechanism and doesn't need that anymore.
Lady's pulling out her writing set and starting to draw, and it's like, wow, I've suddenly become a terrible artist.
Oh dear.
You want commentary on the system change? Maker wasn't a blacksmith in Advanced the 5th edition, but here he's just a Omni crafter. The only reason he can't blacksmith right now is that he doesn't actually have the tools.
Well, I see it this year. Either we give Crom the big bed, and we each take one of the little ones each, or he gets both the little ones, puts them together, and we share the big bed.
It would be kind of funny if he was left in. I'll take the small room.
Smart choice.
Don't want you kicking me in your sleep. That would hurt.
I'm delicate. You wouldn't feel a thing.
Somehow, I believe that would be more of a problem for Bayleaf.
Yeah. In fact, I don't want 2 legs in my bed, so
No, I could just take them off. Jeez.
Yeah, I
Suppose it
assume
makes
that
more room.
Distisha does not sleep with knives on her feet.
was
But
bad to
usually-
draw something.
That's a bold assumption.
Okay, fair. That is a bold assumption. I should not have assumed that.
You take the shower next, as I assume your routine takes, I don't know, what, 3-4 hours or something?
If we're lucky, it will only be 6.
Grand.
1 for every arm.
What for every arm?
An
An
hour.
hour.
No. Sorry, I didn't hear what you're saying. What you're talking about, actually.
You just go on and keep working. This is for the biological creatures that actually need to take hygiene into account. You just keep
Fair
working.
enough. Fair enough. I do not need to concern myself with the fact that you are dying slowly and leaving specks of skin everywhere.
I ain't dying slowly. I'm dying fast. You just wait.
That's not what I mean.
And I am working towards immortality, thank you very much. I'm successful so far.
Yeah, haven't seen her die
So
once.
far.
Yep.
You know anything about these teacups?
Hurry up in there, Crumb!
Hammer on the door of the bathroom.
With 3 fists.
Bum, 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 bum. She can do advanced knocking techniques.
Yeah, you can have this tea set this year.
Ooh. Thank you. This will come in handy for when we actually get some good tea in this place. Sigh.
If you want some tea, I could go out and pick up some leaves.
You know, I wouldn't mind if they were tea leaves, but knowing you, would they just be off the nearest tree?
Of course not. I'd go for actual plants.
Well, if you can get some of that, we can brew something up.
I ain't going back out there right now, though.
Right. Well, are you done in there, Crumb? Dun, 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 dun.
The door opens up. Yes, I'm done. He steps out and he's basically just has his just a simple pair of pants on with a rubbing a towel on his head.
Just the fluffiest boy in the universe.
That's gonna take you a while. Yeah, let me help you. Gonna grab a towel and help Crumb dry off.
It takes a while, even with 2 people.
Thanks. I guess I can do this myself, but if you insist,
We could be here all night if you're doing it yourself.
I would think you know I have taken a shower before.
You just fooled me. Thump. Closes the door.
Oh, granted, I guess I would have made everything a mess if I
Oh
tried.
my god, there's so much air in the drain!
There's a drain.
It's probably just like dumped out. But yeah,
No, she doesn't realize there's not a drain. It's just obscured.
it's
Why isn't the water draining?
there's fluff everywhere. But for now, you get hot showers, you get a hot meal, you get a good rest and some comfortable beds for once, which is nice after almost a week on the road. And you awake to a sunny morning, the dull, distant sound of the waterfall at the west edge of town. Just as kind of like a white noise that blends into everything while you're actually out and about, but you pick up on it when you're first waking up in the morning. It's noticeable.
Good morning, everybody.
Justitia scowls as she looks outside. Sure. Now the clouds break.
I'd rather have another wet day.
I would have liked this a day sooner.
Nothing's ever good enough, is it?
Things need to work harder to get to my standards.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, that was finally a good rest.
It's comfortable enough beds.
Actual.
Did you Did you not sleep all right, Maker?
I do not sleep, and you know that.
That's
That's
why
what she
I said,
asked.
was your night okay?
Yes, I was. I spent the night planning for future endeavors.
He steps cautiously behind Bayleaf at that because future endeavors and plans are usually bad in Eridan.
Yeah, don't worry if he tries to do some weird mechanical men stuff to us. I'll protect us.
Yeah, sure.
Crom, you awake, Crom?
Crom steps out. Yeah, I'm actually quite enjoying peace and quiet here. I've all of like the month we've been traveling.
It's
It's
maybe a nice
nice.
change.
It's nice for a wooden hut, yeah.
It actually kind of reminds me of home, but you know, a lot warmer,
Less
a lot,
northerly.
more precipitation.
Well, it's a nice sunny day. I bet we get ourselves a nice breakfast and then take a little mosey about. I kind of want to go see this so-called temple myself.
All right.
I want to just take a look at the edge of this edge of the forest to see what it's going to be like traveling to the tomb.
Might want to see if we can get ourselves a guide as well.
I'm used to conifers, not really this jungle wood.
It can't be that hard without a guide, can it?
Well, if there's a road or a path,
We're in completely new territory. I wouldn't let any of you walk around the mountain Gozira without a guide, and we're all
Oh, that's right. It's not a mountain.
well, since we're in new territory, I wouldn't want to go into a forest without a guide either. It's
Oh, don't be silly, Crom. You don't need guides for forests.
it can get really easy turned around in these places without a proper
Maker is
path.
deliberately ignoring all of this and making a shopping list.
Well, I wasn't talking to you either, Maker.
Yeah, no. I'm stating this for Emily.
Good to
It's
know.
just off on the side.
Consistently unaware of how dangerous a forest can be. He's been into the woods near the city. He's seen what forests are like.
Just as she is in the middle of this, she doesn't want to look around for a guide, but she doesn't know how dangerous a forest is, and she's not going to chance it.
True that there's not going to be any avalanches that we have to worry about, but I'm pretty sure the wildlife is.
Oh, Crom, you
Just
never
as
seen a tree
dangerous.
avalanche?
what
No.
would that even? Is that a mudslide?
Yeah, a mudslide. They happen all the time in forests.
Uh-huh.
I see.
Well, I could believe that in this place. Practically half the continent is mud.
But we should try and find that guide.
Yeah, let's do that. All right.
Good luck.
Breakfast first, though.
You have a cozy vegetable stew breakfast. Very, very hearty, thick broth. It's nothing fancy, but it fills you up and sets you on the path for a brisk and, in a rarity, a not rainy day. You actually get these more often here when you're closer to the heartlands of Partu, like the inner continent.
It's some weird eye of the storm weather.
Mm-hmm. The mountains do a lot to deflect some of the winds that bring in storms off the coasts.
Or on the bad days, trap it.
Yep, on the bad days they trap it. This is a good day, though.
Let's see if we can keep that up.
So where are you heading first as you go out into the town?
Brady's just gonna head towards the temple. She'll be like, yeah, you're welcome to join me if you want, but if you've got your own things to do, see you later.
Well, I'm supposed to be learning about all this Partu stuff, so I
That
might
you
as well
are.
come along. I haven't been able to read any of these stupid scrolls because it won't stop raining.
Could you have just used an umbrella or something?
These things, we don't want these to get waterlogged as well. They made it.
They're made of paper, right?
They are, though they are treated to avoid damage by light water. You don't want to submerge them or anything, but
Yeah.
Do you reckon we could get a big canvas covering for Krabby?
Oh, that would be neat. And his name's Canceramicus.
I can't say that every time. It's too many syllables.
Sure you can. I believe in you.
Oh, I'm glad you have faith in me.
Let's not go that far.
Well, if we're not going to go that far, we're at least going to go that far because I want to go see the temple.
So
Let's go.
you two are heading towards the temple.
Yes.
And Crom and Maker, are you joining them or are you going shopping?
Maker is going shopping.
Crom is going to join them.
Tradition remains.
All right. So let's handle this shopping trip of Maker's first. Do you actually have a shopping list?
Technically, I think I need to buy those Smith's tools because I don't think we have a set.
Go ahead. You can
Does Chrome
find
have
those.
does Chrome have blacksmith's tool?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Then actually no. I don't think I actually have a shopping list. Then actually,
Maker is window shopping. Maker
Pretty
is
much.
being antisocial, I guess.
no, fine. He's just going to join.
He splits off, goes down the side road. Eventually, he just sort of catches up as you're approaching the temple, and it's just I didn't actually want to buy anything. Just wanted to get away from you guys.
Also, while we are moving around town, I would like to. I don't know if it's perception or thievery or law underworld, but I'm keeping an eye out for the usual thievery. I'm trying not to say the word thieves guild because that's a dumb thing, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the local underworld.
Thieves can't
elements.
icons. Yes.
Give me a society check. I think.
Society.
I think that's like streetwise and stuff handles. Very nice.
Wow.
You are able to find a few signs of various people here do seem to have there's no sign of an organized rebel presence, but there's a lot of signs of various people with little small religious icons or symbols of Partuvian independence or what have you that are just kind of quietly displayed in places that are a little more out in the open than would be safe in most towns, a little bit more bold in their placement. It seems like you're not seeing signs of any kind of dedicated underworld because this is a small town, but you find a number of people that have shops or have storefronts or businesses or whatever that
This close to
Clearly-
the center of the continent, it's less rebel activity and more cult activity.
yeah, well, there is there is some cultish activity, but there's also just
People that are willing to do deals beneath the table.
yeah, people willing to do deals beneath the table. And it looks like there's very little imperial enforcement here. You see a handful of soldiers, but they pretty much all look like they're Partu natives. with a handful of like thralls to assist them. You don't really see like a core of like Imperial Heartlander guards like you have in a lot of towns.
What I'd like to be doing then, as we're walking along and she's sort of spotting these things, is she's actually going to start pointing them out, explaining what she's looking at, for the rest of the party.
Yeah.
Also, it just came to my attention that we're still in session 7, the title.
Really? Come on, stream. Let me.
So it's going to be something.
I changed it. I swear I changed it. But. I have updated the stream info successfully according to OBS.
Yeah.
It might be lying.
I can see it now.
But Bailey, if there's anything specific you want to find, I'll say that a roll that good, you can find it pretty much whatever you need to find in this town. You'll know exactly where.
Yeah, she'll just be picking up some ammo later.
Mm-hmm. But you close in, make your way to what was once an active temple of Nessus. It must have once been quite a sight. Latticed wood windows set with panes of colorful crystallized sap, a flower-strewn altar for ceremonies of bonding and celebrations of holy days, living trees acting as pillars to hold up a vaulted ceiling, painted and dyed to evoke the pale moon hanging in full in the night sky. Soft grass underfoot, gentle and springy enough to walk barefoot and in comfort, as indeed many choose to do so, leaving their boots in cubbies by the door. The grass, at least, remains, but the shrine is a burnt-out husk. The mural on the ceiling can be made out only faintly behind the fire marks, and entire sections of it have collapsed. Water damage is rampant in the building from the holes in the roofs. Only one of the sap glass windows remains, and the once living pillars are crumbled, cracked, and charred. In the center of the room, where the altar once stood with seats arranged in a circle around it, a dull white slab of stone, filigreed gold around the edges, stands imperious over the congregation. An inscription upon it reads, in both the local language and the imperial common, "Let this ruin stand under the sanction of Erodon and the gaze of mighty Ardis. Here shall be the last reminder of the monstrosity known as Nessus, and of its defeat at the hands of the righteous. Say no farewells here, shed no tears. Witness this husk, and understand the power of the true gods, along with the consequences for defying them." For all that, there's a small heap of cut flowers at the base of the monument, and a handful of other people around the temple, lost in their own thoughts.
Does it look like there's much in the way of imperial presence
There
around
is
the
not.
temple?
There are no guards here.
You look right beside you, huh? No.
Bailey's like really scowling. She's going to dig out her piece of chalk, because I have a piece of chalk. All adventurers should have chalk. It's most important.
Powerful tool.
She's going to go up to the sign, and she's just going to like start marking on it.
Well, this thing's poor tape.
She's just going to write, "She slumbers and will wake."
As you make your mark, you notice the other people sort of here for whatever their own reasons happen to be. Near the back of the room, you can see an elderly marrow man sitting near the wall, eyes closed. He might be sleeping or just listening, blue-scaled skin catching the morning light as it filters in through what remains of the windows and the impromptu skylights added by the destruction. You see, perhaps most attention-grabbingly, there is a young servitor girl who is just openly crying near the foot of the monument, just clutching a bundle of flowers so tightly that she's crushing their stems. She's being, or at least an attempt is being made to console her by a middle-aged Consoro woman of uncertain exact ancestry, trying to console the child, just sort of like rubbing at her back and looking at a loss for words. And a little bit away, you can see an elven, well, two elven siblings. You think a brother and a sister just soaking in the room, looking around, trying to wrap their heads around this location. Nobody's really talking. There's still an air of solemnity here.
Justicia coming from when walking down the street was just walking with gusto because it's a temple. She's been to temples. Temples are nothing, but the downer atmosphere is even kind of getting to her. She kind of just is putting her arms behind her back and kind of taps her teeth on the ground, not really sure what to do. Even she looks uncomfortable under these settings.
Gods.
Crom just mutters to himself, kind of spiteful,
Gods.
and just crosses his arms and looks around the room.
Hey, our God's a good God.
That's
Maker mostly regards the architect.
It's
I-
skillfully made architecture. Again, largely made by magic, but two sound principles. It wouldn't stay up otherwise, especially with all the damage dealt to it.
good God. Okay. That's the last. What was he gonna say? Crom just kind of shakes his head. The only. He just shakes his head at Bailey's words. I keep reading her name on the Twitch chat, so
Oh dear. Oh dear.
he just shakes his head at Bailey's words and walks up to the altar to get a better look at the monument in the center.
Looks to be a white stone, maybe marble, maybe some kind of very pale granite, just dropped here by some tremendous force. It's very large and it's clearly not native rock.
I wonder what they did in drop this thing here.
Probably some sort of large thrall, I would.
Bayleaf's eyes are going to linger on the fellow of her species, and the young Servitor girl for a moment. Before she's going to come up by Crom, and she's actually going to kneel down as best as talk can, just lower her body. She's just going to close her eyes, and she's just going to pray for herself.
Does she
No.
have any particular thing she's praying for, or is she just reaching out?
She's going to mumble under her breath, I think. Not particularly audibly, but if anyone wants to try and hear, they probably could. She's just going to go, "We really need you. But if you need us to show that we're worth it, we will. You come back to save us, or we're coming to save you."
Can't get anything done kneeling on the ground like that, Bailey.
You never know. Yeah,
I-
there's a lot you can do get done kneeling on the ground. She's going to sort of say with half levity.
There's a small cough from the Consora woman who looks up from trying to comfort the kid and just sort of glances over to you. You think she still can listen to us? Wherever she is now?
I'm certain of it. Part of this land. She hear us wherever she is, wherever we are.
Hard to be sure myself. I was an acolyte when I was a girl. I training, joined the priesthood, never finished. She looks at the monument and shakes her head. Nessus, she revered life, creation, love. Do you think she'd want us to kill for her? We don't have a doctrine for this. By the time we thought to ask, we'd lost her.
That child there, you feel love for him?
I didn't catch what you said, Yuli.
That child there, you feel love for him?
She's lost too much.
Would you kill to stop her from losing more?
I don't know whether that makes me a better adherent or a worse one.
There are things worth killing for. Sometimes you got to take life to protect life.
Well, how do you... Crom speaks up. Well, what do you feel like? Do you feel like you should kill?
I feel like I don't know we have a choice. This land, it's like there's been a storm brewing for a generation now. We put it off, but it's coming due. And it's hurting kids. It's hurting folks. God, you're young. She shakes her head.
If you feel like you can kill, then pick up a weapon. If you feel like you can't, then find something else. It's a hard choice to take another life, but it doesn't mean that you'd have nothing to do about your own suffering. Don't you just stop waiting for someone to help you and do it yourself.
He's right, killing's not the only way.
Right.
Nurturing, this is important as well.
It's been, well, we need someone to, we need to find the fury in our blood, I think, sooner or later, if we're going to make it through this. I feel it boil when this child, both her parents, for goddess knows, I don't even know what, but she's the last of her household left. Came here hoping for, I don't know, something. Hoping maybe Nessus could take care of her children who have no one left for them, but I got nothing. Thank you for your words. They ring true. I know that. They ring true.
You trying to look out for most of the kids here?
I came here to sort out my own feelings. I found her on the road. She heft around in that storm a few days back. I'm looking to take her home, but it's I've been working the story out of her bit by bit.
Maybe just going to stand up and actually move on closer and do a little lean down and go, "Hey, I'm Bailey. What's your name?"
The girl swallows, takes a deep breath, exhales. Hello, Bayleaf. Alice. I. Hello. She looks a little intimidated.
Momentarily off guard as you have made another servitor and used my real life name.
Oh dear. I'm sorry.
I'm Alice. Yeah.
It's dark reflection of yourself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can change it.
No. It's good. Just this momentary what? Yeah. Ready for smiling and just go. You managed to make your way here, did you? Managed to make your way to her.
Most of the way. I thought back in my home. I'm from Owami. I thought they my the Imperial people they took my parents away for there's there's people who are. She glances at the older woman for confirmation, who just gives kind of a gentle nod. And Alice takes a breath and just for helping to fight the bad people. And I thought since they were doing a good thing, I thought the goddess might help. So I came to ask her to kill all the Imperials so that my parents could come home. Or something like that. I don't know. She just grimaces. She just looks so angry. Very sad and very angry.
You went a long way. So I think you're probably very strong and very brave. And I think you've taken your wishes and your prayers far enough. Now this lady, she's going to take care of you. And you know what? Me and my friends, we're going to go to Nessis's. She doesn't want to say the word tomb. She's thinking for a moment. Nessis's rest. You know, the big temple in the jungle?
Mm-hmm.
We're going to take your prayer for you.
Are you her warriors?
Yeah, we are.
Hmm.
In fact, hey, Justicia.
She just kind of cautiously walks over.
Why don't you tell these nice people who you are?
Yeah, she looks a little bit uncomfortable, but runs a hand through her hair for a moment, crouches down on her sword legs to the girl.
My name's Justicia Volantilis Vindrix. We're off to see the Temple of Nessus to see what is going on over there. So, I guess we can take your prayer since we're on the way.
Girl just goes wide-eyed and starts to tear up, and at that point she just kind of reaches over and she just pulls Justicia into a hug, just like kind of like almost like dangling off of her, trying to like balance against her. Just Valentilus.
Angeles.
I know
Yes.
you. I know you. You're from the stories. You took our words to the goddess before, and you brought her words back, and
Lucy is kind of just freezing up because hugging is not an Eridan tradition. So she's just kind of looking at Bailey with minor panic.
do it
Any
again,
mimes,
please.
wrap arms. Pat, pat.
Let her know that we're hurting, okay? Let her know that we need her back.
It takes 2 arms to wrap around the girl and one other one to pat her on the head as Bailey's instructed.
Girl starts freaking.
Give me
Well.
a diplomacy check from Justicia.
Diplomacy.
The girl just cries quietly. She keeps trying to like say things, but it's just this outpouring of vulnerability and fury and whatever other emotions she's been keeping bottled up, as she just clings like a vice to Justicia, like looking like she's unwilling to let go for just about anything.
So, we're going to do this for you. That means, for now, you don't have to, okay? You need to grow up nice and big and strong. You need to stay safe. And she's going to help you do that. She's looking over at the Contaru.
The older woman gives a nod.
You can remember that anger, but make sure, because I'm sure your parents think so as well, that you remember how to be happy as well. Them. Use that
I'll
anger when you
remember.
grow up.
I'll remember. I'll remember. I'll hold on to it, and I'll make it something that you can use. Whatever you need it for. I'll grow up, I promise.
Go.
Pardon. You hear a voice cut over you, and it looks like the elven boy has sort of like padded a bit closer to the conversation quietly. Did I hear right? Valantilas. I'd heard rumors, but
That depends who's asking. I think you have me at a disadvantage.
oh, Connell. Pleasure to meet you. He nods over. That's my sister, Connor. We're. I'm sorry. Did I hear right? I have to ask.
She looks at Bailey for a second.
I would actually like to do a perception check to try and gauge whether this person's asking out of sort of earnest interest or whether, trying to get the feeling of would it be bad to go along this line of questioning with this person.
Yeah.
Crom is going to just walk
Looking.
behind them, so that way they don't he'll put himself between them and the door. So
Just in case.
yeah, just in case. Is eyes kind of narrow and he crosses his arms again.
They seem, to Bayleaf's best perception, to be a little nervous, a little like awestruck, a little like tentative in their approach. They seem like they're approaching someone who's like they think might be a celebrity, basically, but they don't seem to have any hostile intentions.
This is the Lady Philanthropist, yeah.
I'd heard about what you've done down with the southern groups. My sister and I we're trying to he runs a hand through his hair for a moment, glances around. We want to join up, to lend our bows. We're both decent shots, but I thought coming here would, work up the courage. But I didn't expect to meet. I didn't expect to meet Lady Volantelas herself here. I'm speechless. I'm sorry, but I don't mean to butt in. I want to say it's an honor. I'm honored.
Don't be.
She just kind of scowls over at Crom for a moment before returning to the lad.
He returns a shrug at her gaze.
I just want to ask. I was meaning to go look for some of the southern rebel groups, but is there anything you need? If you have any orders, I'll listen.
I'm not in the place right now to give orders.
Technically, I think that'd be me.
He pivots to Bayleaf. What about you? Are you with her?
Stop giving orders before.
That I am.
From
What do you need? Whatever it is. I mean, we've only got ourselves and a little bit of coin, but
What you need, and what we need from you, we need to stay put here for a bit, yeah? Get yourself situated very carefully. Find, yeah, Crom?
Oh, would you two happen to be or know any guides to the
guides down into the Greenheart? They're almost impossible to find these days. I suppose if you wanted to go to one of the temple cities, you could still find one, but they're generally hired out for the full journey these days. Not enough people making the trek down to the tomb. But I don't imagine that you'd have any trouble. If anyone can navigate the heart of Partu, it's surely Lady Volantelas and her companions, right?
of course, yes. We know all about the continent, and it's.
Crom closes his eyes and lets out a big, drawn-out sigh.
I actually wonder if anyone in this group has the survival skill.
Crom does.
No.
Crom does.
The robot also does, but is it good? By robot, I mean my pet.
It's a +5.
Okay, so my robot is literally the best survivalist to have in this party.
It's a thresher you send out in front of the party to bushwhack its way through the foliage.
Yeah. You are machete.
You make sure that you very carefully try and just find other people that feel like you do.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And then the best thing you can do is you throw away supplies, what weapons you can find, so that when things happen, you're ready.
Yes, of course.
Stop turning the children into soldiers.
Listen, if we're stopping them from actively going out and finding trouble, that's the best thing.
It is ideal to have them stockpile materials away from the praetor's site,
And
so
then
that
you
the
wait.
rebels have a cash to throw upon their.
You wait, and there will be, and they will be obvious to you. When that happens, come and help them. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
And in the meantime, you just look out for each other, for everyone, right?
Yes, we'll do that. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. She's gonna get out her coin purse, and she'll give that pair 20 golders. You only need a little bit of coin. This will help you get set up a bit better. There's some food in your bellies.
Thank you. Dude. What should we call you if we when we do encounter? You say it'll be obvious, but should we say that we met you?
Yeah, you tell them that you meant Phalantius and Bayleaf.
Philanthropist.
Phalantius and Bayleaf. Or you can call me Baby. They'll know me by that name as well.
Wait a moment. He pauses and furrows his brow. But Bayleaf, wait a moment. Are you from? Are you from Twirling Murin?
Yeah, that's an uncanny thing to know about me.
Name.
I'm from Scythia, but I'd heard from some of the. Well, in my town, there's a bit of a crossroads. There's a lot of different, resistance groups where we came from, and I'd heard rumors that there was I'd heard rumors that there was some sort of master thief from the north.
That's me.
You're with
What?
Lady of Valentilus? Of course you are. Of course you are. Thank you. It's an honor. I'll let them know. He looks starstruck as he and his sister just sort of like nervously wave and make their way out of the building.
Guys, I'm a master thief, apparently.
Yeah, it's just
Apparently is a good word to use.
this is just squinting at Bayleaf.
When did you get this?
I got no clue.
I assume your legend grew when you were captured and sent off to die.
Apparently.
It happens.
What kind of master thief gets caught?
Easily, as it turns out.
I will point out that all of us in this party are wants to talk about that. So,
I wasn't a master thief. Thank you very much.
I am merely a supply agent.
I at
I'm a
least was
scholar.
breaking the law. You just got arrested.
My clan was constructing god-killing weaponry up in the mountains with secret forges, and we kind of blew up an entire century of Imperials, making the clans escape. So,
Holy crud.
yeah.
And you just read the wrong book or something. So, you gotta have
Probably
some
wrote
respect
it
for the
too.
craft.
Well, now that you shouldn't say that. She also stole a lot of valuable research
Everyone
material.
does that.
I think
Right.
master thief.
Wasn't your crime embezzlement?
It was. You know what? Maybe it wasn't. Maybe they were jealous of my.
It was embezzlement.
That's like the less cool version of thievery. So
Let's not bring that up, okay?
anyway,
Wait.
Yes,
ma'am.
Messiah.
Really shifting some coinage about in her backpack, and then she's just going to hand over her coin purse to the gone through lady. You and the kid.
Oh, thank you. This is
100 golders.
This is too
Wait,
much.
the kid was just around.
This is too much. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm quite sure.
Thank you. Bless you. If people like you are carrying on, thank you. Thank you. She
You
nods.
say you never finished your training.
I can cast a few cantrips, but I mean, not since. At one point I could, but not since all of this.
While there might not be anything particularly official anymore, if you keep on at it, resume it. Prayers, you're learning. I'm sure she'll see it.
I'm sure. Thank you. If her healing returns, then we'll need it. Thank you.
There's a smile and nod, and she's going to give the little girl a little wave. And,
The kid seems to be starting to recover from her complete emotional meltdown and like rubbing at her eyes and sniffling and just giving like a nod to Bailey Fez. She's like quietly kind of like pulled off of Justicia.
this year.
Yeah. Just like no, please let the Messiah lady go. Please.
I'm not a messiah.
He is the Messiah.
You have
Very
become
naughty
the
boy.
Messiah.
You take care of each other.
As we can. And to whatever extent we are able. Goddess go with you. Or
How are you?
you go to the goddess, as the case may be. Well, she opens her mouth, closes it, just nods and departs herself. The room is a lot quieter.
Babe's actually going to stand a bit taller. Not doing her usual sort of skulky.
Okay.
He's just Justicia is still kind of crouching in the same position.
Okay.
You did good.
Well, that's a lot more weight on my shoulders.
Truly. Down
Don't
there
worry.
in the south, it was never quite as apparent how lost the chickens are without the poultryman.
That is a very strange Lackmaran saying.
It's not a Lackmaran saying I'm comparing Nezis to a rancher and you to cattle.
Yeah, you're pretty rude like that.
Wow.
Well, at
Yeah,
least
Lackmaran saying, definitely.
It shall become one. I'll make it so.
you have 6 shoulders to hold it all, Messiah.
Would you stop that?
She
Truly
gets
the savior this land needs and deserves.
You dug this hole. I'm just watching you struggle on the bottom of it.
Well, I guess we'll figure that out as we go. Yay! Guess. What? I still don't understand why Valantalis is such a strong name over here.
Are you into your religion back home?
What?
The
It's hard.
triumphalism.
No. It's like that's a belief system. That was more of an empirical system. It's like for me, this kind of stuff is like, I think it's silly to have faith in the gods, because it's like they're real beings. They're huge, soulful beings, but they're not. They exist. They're not divinity.
And I think that's exactly the kind of thing you need to have faith in, right? I got faith that. Oh, she looks over at Com. I got faith that he'd stand by my side in a fight. I got faith that you're a good person at your heart.
Well, you, but that's not a religion. That's just
It's a belief.
being, and it's just putting together a divinity over something that exists is just weird to me.
Imagine believing something that doesn't exist. That's the crazy thing.
But that's the whole point of faith is it may not exist, but you believe it's to be, and that's like when you have the big thing ruling your land just up the road. It's
Real or not, I'm putting faith in these things that are not of felt is fool's errand.
I think I'm a fool now, Crom.
He stays silent.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
thanks, Maker. Thanks.
Back in Destitia's homeland, the thing about the triumvirate is you would worship them, you would pray to them because they're powerful and they're in charge.
Yeah.
It's like they demand reverence in the way that a senator demands reverence.
Like, he's a political figure, our god. He's the one that's a divine political figure, the one who rules everything and he exists.
He's more like the president.
No, you don't. Not the president. Don't talk in my voice, Crom.
What are you talking about? He's definitely the president. I know all
Might have
about
a
the
stroke.
president.
I didn't even notice that was Bird talking.
I noticed it was someone imitating Destitia, but it's a good imitation. That's
There's a
upsetting.
Doesn't
perfect
sound
imitation.
anything like me, Crom.
It sounds exactly like you.
Okay, you're banned from doing that. I'm sorry, but no.
Yes, copying me.
Can't believe I'm such an idiot.
Stop it! I'm not an idiot.
God, can't believe all I do is Smith and don't do anything else. Useful for the party. Oh my gosh, I use a big weapon. Hurdy, hurdy, hur.
That's what you sound like.
Oh,
This is how the
Twins,
party
everyone.
ends.
I think you're a good person, says Bayleaf. Followed by this nonsense.
But he rubs her forehead.
Irreconcilable. But
Well, you think that my faith's foolhardy or not? I feel like you help.
Whether you want it or not, I will provide as much as I can, as long as I breathe.
Great, because we're gonna need a lot of it. Apparently, we're huffing it through the forest without
Wasn't
a guide.
talking to you.
Just smiles at Crom. Right, shall we see if we can find ourselves a guide before we decide to set foot ourselves into the forest?
I suppose so.
I will
Great
leave
idea.
that to you. In the while, I will try to prepare for the eventuality that we will head into that place by ourselves.
Again? Are you just going to meet us down the road again?
No, I'm going back to the inn to try and get us some better gear.
All right.
Right, well, see you back there.
All right. So you are looking around for a guide. I will say, Bailey, that earlier ace you got on that check, I'll say that lets this sort of spill over into this check.
Mm-hmm.
You can't find any like active guides, but you do find a retired one, like too old to go hoofing it through the forest now, but who's sympathetic to your cause, wishes you success, and will happily part with their old like book of notes and advice and how to handle various hardships and what have you. So you get like a little book that'll give you a +2 bonus to any like survival checks you make in the in that interior region.
Bailey will thank him kindly.
Good. Now Hobo Crab can get a +10 to the checks by reading a book somehow.
Well, it's Maker reading the book and controlling it.
Very much.
And then she'll drag Crom and Destisure with her to buy some illegal items.
Off you go.
She'll just get some ammo and let's be like, right, you act cool around these people. They're happy to tell you what you need. So if you need something, you know.
I want a larger umbrella.
I don't think that's something we need to get under the table, but you may as well ask.
You can just buy that legitimately. That's not.
The Imperials haven't outlawed large
They
umbrellas.
haven't outlawed large. Yeah, large
What if I
umbrellas
want-
are-
What if I want an illegal one?
I mean,
Contraband umbrellas.
Umbrella.
It's an umbrella that just says "F you imps" on it.
On the underside where they
Yeah.
can't see it.
I mean, that's called you get an umbrella and you get some paint.
Well, I do
Well,
have
we're-
a calligraphy set, so
While we're out and about together, though, she's actually going to go. So, this year, you understood what the Lakmaran was talking about on the boat, right?
There did.
He scowls again.
What the hell was these?
Well, I think Maker, surprise, surprise, might be a Lakmaran spy.
I'm pretty sure Maker has already said as much.
Yeah, but she might actually believe him now.
God damn it.
They were talking about checking, like sympathizers over in the island city, and going to check that out. The Maker is looking for someone on the island. A fellow automaton, I think?
I gotta say, he's rubbed me the wrong way, which puts my back up. And I think that might cloud my judgment. So I wanted to ask your opinions. Do you think he's trustworthy as far as anything goes?
He was a pirate. What do you
No,
think?
Not the bloody pirate.
Oh,
Maker.
Maker?
I'm worried about worried about the man traveling with us.
Oh, I guess that would make sense. Well, the friend that hasn't stabbed you yet is a friend in the moment.
Wow. You were complaining about Lakmaran sayings?
And
Well, I didn't
breath
compare
where
you
you
to
come
cattle.
from must be horrendous.
Imperial Society, everyone.
The friend who hasn't stabbed you yet, the finest friend you're gonna get.
He rubs me the wrong way, but not because of anything suspicious. I mean, other than, like, espionage.
That's kind of what I'm worried about. Don't want to lead him into Nessus' temple only for him to go, here's some Black Maran master plan, you know.
Well, then we have the blacksmith kind of disassemble the thing made of bronze.
Yeah, I suppose.
Like, I'm not too worried about him. The metal crab, maybe. But we have our own
The
crab.
metal crab terrifies me. It just
But
appeared
really-
one day.
But overall, I would say optimistic caution. I mean, you are a thief, and Crom is a terrorist.
Have you not noticed? I'm a thief that tends to give away her gold.
Not a terrorist. I don't use terror.
Yeah, he's a good fluffy boy.
You scare people just by walking into the room.
But
That's the definition of terror.
That's not my political motivation.
So technically, you're a terrorist now as well.
Technically, I'm apparently a
Living saint of some
figurehead to
sort.
an-
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe. Well, I guess we did blow up a town. I guess we're all terrorists here.
We're quite literally.
Yeah.
They all just stop and think thoughtfully.
So I guess we just trust him for now. He does make your bullets.
Why do you think I'm buying bullets today?
Because you have money to spend? Oh, do you have money to spend? You did
I
just
still
give away
got
a
money
lot
to
of it.
spend.
Okay. Good golly, you're rich. You were. Anyway,
Money is transitory. I don't need it.
I'm gonna transitory a new medical kit, that's for sure.
That's one thing she's gonna buy, some higher class medical tools.
All right.
She feels like we're gonna need them.
But, while we're traveling, Crom, do you reckon you could teach me some of your skills?
Certainly.
Like, I'm willing to buy bullets when I can, but I'd rather make myself, you know, be a bit more self-sufficient.
Never worked. So, see.
I
Your
can't really. I
voice is-
cannot hear
your
what you're
voice is very
saying. It
low,
sounds
yeah.
like your microphone just
Sorry.
moved 10 feet away from you.
It's
Crom stood up at his highest height.
You cannot hear Crom. He's too tall.
He
The
strained
words
his-
go over your head.
I've never really worked with ammunition that much, but I can see what I can do.
I'm sure you just smack some stuff with some hammers or something, right?
Most likely, you do not smack bullets with hammers. I may be a blacksmith, but there is some finesse in crafting.
Blacksmith, black powder goes hand in hand. I'm sure you'll be able
It
to sort
most
help me
certainly
sort it
does
out.
not. It really, really does not. You do not want gunpowder in the forge. You really do not want that. I don't. He bends down, puts his hands on her shoulders. You do not want black powder in the forge.
Okay, I'll make sure I
Do
keep my
not
black powder.
bring explosives near any type of open flame. Do you understand me?
So I should move the black powder canister away from my lighter.
Yes.
Sorry, it's fancy terms, my igniter.
Yes.
Got it. See, what did I do without you, Crom?
Blow up.
Blow up.
And my legend would grow.
Perhaps it would. So you're able to find this
You're-
criminal umbrella that Justicia seeks. You're able to find.
How much ammo am I actually able to buy?
I'll say that you can probably buy a good 50 shots.
Okay, cool.
Like a-
Yep.
One good ammo bag.
Nice.
A 50 shot bag is standard Imperial issue, and someone just happens to have one that they lifted from an unspecified source.
Mm-hmm.
But Justicia, you are able to find okay, there's no such thing as a criminal umbrella. However, you are able to find like a nice old lady who gives you like a little like knitted symbol of like Nessus or whatever that you can hang in your big umbrella, like a little like dangly charm that would be pretty illegal. She doesn't charge for it. It's just like, here, you're going along your way. Have this, hang it from your umbrella.
End of a joke, but okay.
I mean, look, you don't go looking for a criminal umbrella and not expect to get something out of it. Aside from that, what else are you looking for?
That's it for me. We found our book guide.
I was going to spend 50 gold on the +1 medical kit,
Yep, you're able to find one.
healer's tools.
Which tools?
The
kit.
healer's tools.
It is surprisingly easy to find that. Again,
Wait, rations.
yes, I don't know what your ration situation is, but it is a 2-week journey there, which means it's a 2-week journey back. You need a month of rations.
All right, I'm going to get some illegal
No.
trail mix.
The Imperials don't want you to have this flavor.
Get the illegal brownie.
Ma'am, we don't sell illegal grain bars here.
How about illegal?
Stop calling all our merchandise illegal, ma'am.
Chet has suggested that you purchase some crime brulee.
Right, I'm buying. Eh. Yeah, I'm buying a month's worth of rations.
I will buy 3 weeks worth of ration.
Let's see, a month's worth is 1 gold, 6 silver.
Okay.
How much is 1 guilder? How much are the rations in general?
You can get a week's worth for 4 silver pieces.
Okay.
Crom's going to buy a month as well. Put it on Canceramicus.
Yep. Your crab has enough carrying capacity to carry all this nonsense. Rations are pretty compact.
Can we get an illegal umbrella for the crab?
No. Your illegal umbrella charm was handcrafted with love by a little old lady. You cannot get another one.
Get
You'd
the
have
crab.
you'd have to mess with the triggers to do that.
Get the crab an illegal blanket.
I swear. No. I placated you once and that was a mistake.
Fine, I'll just have to illegally deal with it.
Your
Oh,
deal
I thought-
is...
I apparently lost my tent in the transfer. I need to buy a new tent.
Hey, wait a minute. I've been sleeping outside this entire time.
I've been bunking with Crom.
I do have a 4-person tent.
He does.
I'm going to
take up the
continue
entire-
bunking with Crom.
I think that Crom has the least space in his tent of all the people here.
Guys, we should buy a Perfidian tent.
Not in this forest.
Damn, that's right. Well, I'm
Can't you
also
just-
getting a 4-person tent for myself.
Can't you just sleep on the crab?
No, that's where Desticia is sleeping.
I suppose.
Sets up the tent on the crab.
How much is how much would a hoda be?
I don't know. The crab basically has a howdah on it. Like, that is why it is called a flatback. It is a very broad crab that you've just put like
Fair
a
enough.
rug. You put a rug on it, you lash a bunch of stuff to it, you ride around pretty comfortably. It's not an elephant.
Fair
Far
enough.
superior.
I
Thing
agree.
is, I am mostly waiting for downtime.
All right. I will say, what do you want to do in downtime? I'll say that we've got like a day of downtime here.
Only a day.
I mean, unless you want to like spend multiple days prepping.
Yeah, that's up to the party. I wanted to get started on getting your striking runes.
What is the increment of crafting? It's 4 days again?
It's 4 days, yeah.
I'll say that you can do that in a day here because, like, my inclination is I'm just going to say we hand wave the 4-day increment of crafting down to just like a downtime increment. However long that ends up being.
Does that mean like I could get multiple rolls of like earn income in the same time? Because it's the same sort of earn income's a day.
Sure.
It looks like.
Sure. Go ahead and do that. I just want to avoid like having it be like, oh yes, you spend a week here, have 7 downtime rolls. You spend a day here, you don't get any.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I mean, it is part of the mechanics of the system, right? It's like if you have a time pressing matter, then you can't craft if you can afford to take the time to rest.
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't have anything time pressing right now.
You do not have time pressing.
If we had something that was time sensitive, we would just not get downtime.
But it just means Maker has to go, hey guys, can we stay put?
Yeah.
All right. If
And this is relevant because this is how I'm pretty sure this is how we're going to get like better weapons.
So do you guys have 4 days to spend on hanging out? Letting Maker do his forging?
I think if that's what we're going to do, Crom's also going to join in crafting something as well.
Go for it.
I just need to.
Yeah, and I want to get this recipe out so I can share it with Chrome, and we can just mass craft those rooms.
Yeah, he's going. I think he's going to craft a weapon potency. Rune.
You have that right?
Yes.
Why?
Because what? Don't I what?
Don't we already have weapon potency runes?
Don't we? I only have.
Yeah, potency is the +1 to hit pillar.
I don't have.
Yes. You don't? Huh.
Yeah, I didn't have any +1 weapons.
I see.
He got something else with his starting kit, I think.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
I got different magical items and stuff. Though there is that. I guess I could have taken something from the armory because there was.
Oh right, yeah. We could get magical.
We couldn't get magical from
Yeah,
that.
they weren't sharing magical weapons with you.
Okay.
Yeah, so if Maker asks to stay and Crump's like, yeah, let's do it, then we'll take a few days downtime. Looks like I can do a single roll for income and I just get that many days worth of pay based on that roll.
Yep.
Which I will elect to do thievery.
Steal from the town that you gave to?
Imperial specifically.
Just nab more stuff from the Praetor.
Which I think you set the DC for me secretly.
Yes, I am checking the DC now. What is the... I just used level-based DCs for this, so that means...
Do you want me to link it to the income and chart thing? 19? Okay. Yeah. That's task level 4, 19, thievery. 2. Okay. I might spend my hero point. Yeah, why not? Actually, you know what? That's not a critical fail. I think I'll just take that. That means I earn like 4 silver pieces.
Okay. Maker, your DC is also level based, is it?
Yeah,
Or-
it's also 19.
Yeah, so you succeed.
This is technically this would be for the level of the item, but this is a level 4 item, so DC 19.
All right. And Crom?
I think, yeah, I either can do a weapon potency or make a cloak of feline rest.
You probably want a weapon potency rune if you don't want to just have fun.
Yeah. Okay. So, rolling, crafting.
Yeah, you don't have a cloak of canine rest. You do have a hero point.
Okay. I guess
If you
I'll.
want it.
Yeah, I'll try re. Oh, I'll try re-rolling it. I
That'll do it.
Okay. Whew.
Hammered it out. Etched some runes on your mighty weapon.
And oops.
I think what Desticia will be doing during this entire time will be studying about Nessus,
All right.
what to expect, and things to know about the area or the temple and or the god itself.
All right. I'll say, is research a downtime activity?
I don't know.
Let me check. It appears that it is.
Relocate capital.
Oh god,
Okay,
research points.
Give me a religion check.
Cultism? Did I hear occultism?
No.
Arcana? Did you say Arcana with a weird inflection?
I didn't. I didn't say that. I said religion.
Thanks for giving me one of the 3 skills I have with a +0. I've got 3 hero points though, so I'm gonna roll that again. Let's do one more.
You know what?
It's above 10.
You know
She's
what?
trying really hard. She doesn't get this religion stuff.
Desticia spends multiple days in her room having meals brought to her. Just kind of like
This book's so boring.
trying to make sense of a whole host of parables and legends and codes. Like, these scrolls cover everything from, like, extremely practical things, like, this is the role of a priestess of Nessus in a community. This is, like, what they're expected to do with regards to, like, taking care of local children. This is what can be expected
Entire section on
of them.
midwifery.
Yes, there's an entire section on midwifery, which is the part that Desticia probably latches onto best because that's medicine rather than religion. There's like sections on various like plants and what have you. Like, there's a lot of facts in here that Desticia is able to pick up. The much trickier bits are like the fables, the legends, the stories about various towns and how they were founded, the stories about the original priestesses that like unified Partu. There's stories about the many tribes that gathered from the surrounding islands when Nessus fell to the earth, and the slow settlement of Partu as a landmass as her influence grew and life sprung up all across it. It all adds up to a story of a people who, in many ways, found a group identity through this goddess, which is a very sharp departure from Artis, who landed essentially in a already established political structure. Like, the Senate of Partu existed, or the Senate of Erodon existed before Artis arrived, but the same was not true of Partu. This entire continent was mostly desert before Nessus arrived. There wasn't really much life here. All these forests, all these rivers and what have you, largely come from her influence. It's habitable because of her. It's a lot to work through. The more... She's been working through history first, but the more metaphorical and more esoteric bits, those will take some further study. What
A bit
is...
frazzled by the end of it.
As she does get through, one thing that is becoming increasingly apparent is just how much cultural weight the idea of being someone who is supposed to go and commune with the goddess has. That is a profound duty that those who come in contact with Nessus directly are important people. That being said, one day passes into the next. You're able to keep your rooms at Pilgrim's Rest, and now and then, if you make any more visits down to the Temple of Nessus, you might find another pilgrim passing through now and again, able to benefit from words of encouragement. You're able to move about remarkably freely due to the lack of Imperial soldiers in this kind of strategic nothing of a town. It's clear there's been an attempt to make some profit off of a lumber operation here, but it's an incredibly half-hearted attempt. There is a lumber yard. Logs do get shipped out sometimes, but it's such a long road to Pymas that it's barely profitable to send a flatback with a few logs all the way down to the shipyards when you can get good timber anywhere in Partu, basically. It's basically, the operation seems to have gone as far as someone seeing that there's a huge, incredibly dense old wood forest and going, that seems like something we should try to exploit for resources, and then abysmally failing to do so in a productive way.
Would it be possible to find out from the nice guide we talked to the difficulty or ease of taking a flatback along the...
You can do it. It won't be any slower than going on foot, and it's probably recommended if you are carrying your own supplies.
Okay, cool. But we don't have to abandon Krabby.
You do not. It is, it's slow going, but...
It's slow going anyway.
It's slow going anyway, and the reason flatbacks are favored is because a big multi-legged creature is pretty good at navigating really rough terrain.
Tazramica saves the day once more.
Yep. The big thing that he cautions... There aren't any, that book has a lot of useful advice, but there aren't paths in in the heart of the continent, there aren't nothing remains constant. The overgrowth just continues. It like layers on itself. It shifts, it changes. Any like safe path gets swallowed up by the jungle in a matter of weeks at most. So stay on your toes, pay attention to where you're going. Stick to the things that are constant, like use the stars to navigate where you can. It's there's rarely clouds, too many clouds in like the center of the continent, and so
Do not cast fireball.
yes. Well, if you cast fireball, it doesn't matter. You're just going to like slam into a bunch of green living wood, and you might cause like a small burn, but
Wet wood mostly.
yeah. It's still damp and like thick with fog and mist. But it'll as long as you respect it, as long as you pay attention, and as long, most importantly, as you're able to either evade the big nasty animals or handle them in combat, which like trained fighters should be able to do, you should be able to make the trip, and he wishes you luck.
I guess we will, once we've done all our crafting and such, gather up, have a last meal, and get underway.
So, are you done with your crafting?
I assume so.
All right.
Technically, I just got like the recipe rather than the rune. So, and I think I'm going to be sharing that with Crown. So
Yeah, you can copy recipes from one book to another.
For when we are actually crafting those.
Okay.
You do have downtime if you want to craft them now.
Yeah, I guess getting at least one for each other member of the party. Maker can't actually use those is ideal. That would be 3 craft.
Can Crom contribute to that?
Yeah, like Chrome would be crafting like at least one.
Okay. So, 2 more cycles of downtime then?
Probably.
Oh.
Feel free.
And those are coming out of your money bags, because I'm kind of running out of this is your.
So what's happening exactly?
There's 2 more cycles of downtime, 2 more cycles of 4 days, 8 days of crafting. Maker is needing to make runes.
Better weapons for you. Yeah.
Striking runes.
Don't worry about Bayleaf.
And that, if you don't need Bayleaf, then I believe it's only 3.
It's
only
2 runes in that case. So yeah.
It's only 4 days that you'll need.
Yeah, only 1 shack for Maker and 1 for Chrome.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm surprised Bayleaf doesn't want more damage dice. That's a failure.
My
Don't you? You
hero
still have a
point.
reroll. You still have a reroll.
Do I?
think.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Right.
haven't used the hero point yet.
Yeah, I used it in the last craft.
Oh.
Can I give him my hero point? I've got one more.
I'll allow it for now, mostly to get us on our way.
Don't waste this.
There we go.
Still
People-
one less than Maker, but
You
Both
will always be
succeed.
one. You will always be one less than Maker.
Yeah, Bayleaf would like more damage done in future, but she's also impatient to get underway.
Anyway,
So-
65 gold less from both of you, I guess.
my money. It hits me right in the wallet.
But it's more damage dice.
My money.
So, with all that done, will you be heading down and out of town with your new equipment, Canceramicus at your side, ready to
Yeah.
go?
Onwards.
Yeah.
Sure.
You gather up your supplies, set off south across Shapestone Bridge, and you find some remarkably high and imposing stone walls on the other side, a couple lamps, and a gate that is not actually guarded by an Imperial soldier, but by a local who seems to be less guarding it than just kind of minding it. They give you a look over and move to start unbarring the heavy wooden doors of just... So, you're passing through on pilgrimage?
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Couple of pilgrims.
I think I heard a thing or two about you lot.
Oh boy.
Best
Any
of
prayers
luck.
you want to take them with us?
Think you're carrying enough for now. Wouldn't want to be the one to overburden you. Go on. Get on through and, well, hope to be seeing you coming back through the other side for too long.
Or just do a little, flick of the hand and salute?
They pull the gates wide, and on the other side, it is just dark, like immediate, like emerald nighttime. The trees are incredibly thick and dense. There is nothing even remotely resembling a path. The vines need to be pulled away to even make room for the doors to open. It's suddenly very clear why this gate somewhat unusually opens inwards. It's because you couldn't open it outwards. There's too many roots and too much wood like immediately outside the walls to push them out of the way.
Ah,
Chill runs
forest.
up Justicia's spine, looking into the forest.
Oh boy. That's a lot of trees.
Yeah, looks like I could just swallow you up. You'd never be seen again, huh?
Oh, let's hope that doesn't happen. I've
It
got
is-
things to do.
It is the interior of the continent.
Well,
We'll be fine. We're meant to go this way.
if you say so.
Keep your eyes peeled.
I am more worried about the tomb than the path towards.
Look at this
Hey,
little handy dandy.
I have the capacity to be worried about both.
Well, you are edible.
All right. In we go.
In you go. And with that, one by one, or perhaps all at once, you make
Charging
your way
recklessly.
forward. You make your way forward, feeling the roots creak underfoot and the boughs rustle overhead. You move into the living wood, the deep forest, the place where resides the tomb of Nessus herself. And that, I believe, is where we will leave it off for the night.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Okay.
We did it. We got into the forest.
Dungeon time!
Dungeon time indeed. But, with all that, thank you to everyone for playing. Thanks to everyone in the audience for watching. And if you've enjoyed this game and are interested in participating, you can hire me. I run tabletop games professionally in a wide variety of systems and genres. Just check out the About tab on my channel for a rundown on how you can get in touch with me. I would love to work with you to set up exactly the kind of game you and your group are looking for. Until next time, be kind where you can, brave where appropriate, and always try to act in solidarity with those less fortunate than yourselves.